Hello everyone, and welcome to Green Team's presentation of their game, Reckoning, Attack at Atwater. This is our opening screen, so as you can see we do have the plane quit, and we do want to play, so let's get this guy fired up. Alright, so our original level is more of an orientation level where players are going to learn how the game works and what the objectives are. So one of the goals was to have them explore as much as possible. So we don't give them a ton of information. They're expected to figure it out within game. And it's going to come through characters and NPCs. So here's our first character. If we choose to go and talk to them, we're going to get some valuable information about what the game is about. So we're supposed to collect some boards and fix some bridges. We're supposed to watch out for aliens, and we can fight back if we're using our spacebar. We wanted to support player knowledge, so we developed an in-game library where students can go get information by taking a little break in the library. And when they come in, they have a variety of topics for this current introductory level dealing with fractions. So all a character has to do is walk over by a book and a little video is going to pop up. But if you notice, there's also a little help button down here. So if they actually click on the help button, they're going to get some dialogue. And this is a welcome from Archimedes, the little owl right here. And Archimedes tells them that there's a lot to learn, and if they stand in front of the books, they'll be able to absorb some knowledge. And good luck. So as a character walks over, they can stand in front of a book, and it's going to pop up. This one is there we go, there it is. So that is simplifying fractions. This one is going to be multiplying fractions. And then this one is going to be basics. And this one is going to be divide. And this one is going to be
hello again, my friends.
And then they can leave and go back to the game. So it all happens in game. Okay, let's go take a look at what else is going on in our game. Oh, there's one of the boards we need. Robert had the great idea of moving our board counter up here in the upper left. It used to be down here in the lower left, but bringing it up here allows players to see it quicker, and they don't have to split their focus between their health and the board counter. So it's a little more, it's a little easier to see and a little easier to keep track of, and a little more dominant. There we go. If you notice, we just got our board counter to go up, our first board counter to go up by half. And as mentioned, we wanted to get as much information coming from the game itself rather than instructions. So NPCs are being developed, and they have dialogue. And this is a little hint that owls have information, and if you run across one, it might have something important to say. During our initial development of the game, you couldn't go into any houses, but we started to develop a way that you could. Here's a little more dialogue where, again, keeping you on task, and if you avoided that first character, you're still getting the information in pieces through other characters. So this is one of the first houses that we developed after our initial course. And the goal was that you could then regenerate health, because the aliens at this level will actually take health away from you if they hit you. So let's go in. Transition's a little rough. We're working on that. You're going to be able to have a nice smooth transition. But we have some additional dialogue. You would have a challenge at this point. You'd have to use fractions in some way to solve it. And if you did successfully, you would receive a heart. But they're having supply chain issues, so they're out of hearts. We have to come back later. So you'd be able to come back in here a number of times, and you get different challenges each time, and you'd be awarded hearts, but never a penalty. If you got the answer incorrect, you would not be penalized. You just wouldn't get your heart. All right, brings you back. Let's go ahead and fight this guy. Okay, let's go over to this guy. So later in... Oh, here he comes. So later in the game, you're going to be able to achieve power-ups. Oh, did you see that little dialogue? So the aliens are actually trying to communicate with you. You just don't understand what they're saying. And the power-up is going to take the form of being able to decipher what aliens say. And it's using an old standard rudimentary encryption called ROT13. Okay, let's go over here. There's a quarter. Now our quarter counter is starting to go up. This character also has dialogue. You're going to be able to go into Jacob's house and acquire items. But you'd have to know fractions in order to actually gain those items. Okay, here's another guy. Let's just get rid of it. Oh! Good, he didn't take any of my health. There's another quarter. Our board counter has gone up by another quarter. Now over here, we developed this little transporter. So whenever you see this little pedestal with an owl on top, it's going to be able to transport you to the library no matter where you are in game. So we'll be able to seed these throughout the game, and it will transport you to the library. And depending on the level you are, the content will change. So if you're doing more advanced fraction manipulation, the actual information within the library is going to accommodate that depending on level. Here's our half. Now if you notice, our board counter just went up and filled up, so our half counter is now full. Let's go and see if we can get some other ones. There's a quarter. Let's go get that one. Let's kill this guy first because he'll chase me and kill me. This little guy right here, he's a little more aggressive. We're working on having him chase you around a little more. There's another quarter, so we're only 1/4 short. Oh. Let's go down here. Okay. So this is a transition area. Now originally we had some grass over here, and players were having difficulty figuring out where the bridge was supposed to be built. So we filled in this with tiles now, and they go right to the water's edge, and we're thinking about having some little bridge fragments maybe, so that it's a little better indicator this is where you need to go to actually fix the bridge later in the level. But right now, if you notice, we can't go anywhere because we haven't filled up our counter. For testing, we're only doing the first counter and the second counter. We're not utilizing this one right now. That's going to be for a little more advanced manipulation. Oh, there's our last quarter. Let's go get it. There we go. This guy, if you would manage to avoid a lot of our NPCs, but actually run into this guy, he's going to say that, remember the library is where you can go to get help. And let's get that last quarter. Okay, we've completed our needs for this particular level. Let's see if we can do our transition. And we transition into what would be a bridge building scene. This is going to be drag and drop. So within this scene, one of the challenges in Unity on doing drag and drop, at least as far as we understand it, is the specificity on what needs to go where. So to take away some of the ambiguity, we're using a little iconography to indicate which pieces are supposed to go into which areas. Now, we're not telling them which orientation or which order they should go in. We're just indicating that these go with this, and these little blue guys go with this. So again, we're referencing pieces to a whole, pieces to a whole. So this is in development. It's a little more challenging in Unity to get drag and drop to work correctly, so that's taking a little more time than we thought it would. But right now we have this button so you can bypass this and get to the completion scene, or you can go back and play level 1 if you want, or quit. So we're going to bypass this. So on completion of that drag and drop, it would then show you this screen with the bridge completed, and here's where you would actually have your ability to advance. The previous screen would not have those buttons on it. You would have to actually complete the bridge drag and drop before you actually got the option to go to level 1 or level 2 or quit. So let's go to level 2. So here's our level 2, and this is that grass I was talking about on level 1 that was adding a little bit of ambiguity and confusion to the players. So in here we need to bring the tiles up to the edge, and this is the old location of the board counter here in the lower left. I think we can all agree that in the upper left is much better. So Christina did a great job in designing our levels, and there's some nice little subliminal iconography. If you notice, there's a huge plus sign, and there's a huge plus sign, and it indicates that this is a level for addition. There's a third, so if we grab a third, you can see that our counter is starting to build. We don't have any aliens in here or any adversaries yet. This path is actually a spiral that is based on the golden ratio, because we want to keep everything map themed. So yeah, this is where we are right now, still building it out. I hope that gives you an idea on what we're trying to achieve with Reckoning Attack at Atwater, and using it as a tool for learning fractions and fractions related to wholes. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.